I'm Dr. Angela McBurdy of DoctorFlute.com. Today's flute tip is on getting a better tone on your C, C sharp, and D. So I might as well add E flat to that group of notes, but oftentimes our C, C sharp, D, and E flat don't have the absolute best tone on it. We can get a really good tone from here up. But as we go lower to that E flat where we put the first finger up, especially D, and then we get to C sharp, and they don't sound so good. They just lose all center tone focus. This is something I worked a lot of time on. And I remember in college saying, all right, long tones, long tones, long tones. And I did oodles and oodles of long tones. And I'm sure that I got the progress I thought that I should have on that. So let me tell you the key to getting those notes. Number one, make sure you're covering all the holes. So if you have an open hole flute and you're leaking on a D or an E flat, I have seen that so many times that it's just the fingers, they're leaking. And if they cover all the way, just all of a sudden it changes everything. Along those lines, if you're leaking, your keys are leaking, no fault of your own, it's just that the keys, the mechanism itself is leaking, it's going to show up on an E flat or a D. So that's something just to look at as well. The main thing is, so cover all the holes. Number two, aim the air slightly differently. So for here, I'm aiming the air across the strike edge just a little bit differently. When I go to that E flat, you can hear that there's a little bit lessening of the tone quality. But it's my job to lessen, to mitigate that lessening of tone quality. And it's because the first finger, we're losing too much because we're now putting this first finger up and we're losing too much air and it changes the tone quality. So we do have to work at it a little bit. But I'm going to change the angle on this strike edge, and that is going to make all the difference. I'm blowing slightly down more on that E flat than I did for the F. And that helps me. Now, do I think about that while I'm playing a solo? No, I've just trained my embouchure to know what to do. It just does it automatically on its own. And same thing, I'm going to keep that angle and even lower my jaw a little bit more for C sharp and C as I go. And then down to B, where we kind of pick up a good tone again. I think that oftentimes when you go with that C, C sharp, D, E flat area, our airstream is just not angled the right way. So say you are covering the holes all the way on your keys, the holes are covered, then it's an angle issue. Experiment with that, because you know what? You can do a bazillion long tones. And if you don't figure out the key to getting that area of notes, that in between octaves kind of area, your long tones aren't going to really help you at all. Now, I think that just by sheer doing long tones long enough and just moving my embouchure, I figured out how to get a good tone through there. But I didn't really analyze as to what did I do? What made that happen? And I think it's that angle of air, and it's the space between your teeth, meaning there's more open on the inside and even open a little bit here. That makes all the difference. My teeth are probably a finger apart by the time I get to that C and B area, whereas probably less, I'm not sure how much, in millimeters how far apart or close they are. But I know that when I go from when I hit that C sharp and I go down, I need at least a finger's width between my teeth. And above that, it's definitely going to be a little bit closer. It's not going to be as open because your airstream is different there. And so it just makes sense that you're closing up a little bit. And so oftentimes, not only it's the airstream, but you keep your teeth closed too much. And that doesn't help that middle area, that transition area. So you need to focus your air, you need to cover all the keys, and just don't be satisfied with getting a bad tone in that area. When I show students right then in lessons right now, not 4 weeks down the road after they've been doing long tones, that you can get a good tone right there, right now. Their eyes are open and it's like a miracle has happened, because kind of it is. It's just like, wow, I don't have to work as hard as I'm working, trying as hard as I can, and it's not working. No, you just have to have some key components, and all of a sudden, whew, that area of tone just can open up to you. And now you can have consistent octaves. Instead of starting off with one tone color, changing when you get into the middle, and then getting it back later on as you go up higher and you can focus the tone more, you get it right away. So it really is sort of a mini miracle. All right, now you experiment with that. Work on that middle area with your long tones and see what happens with your C, C sharp, D, and E flat area between first octave and second octave. See what you can do with that. I think you'll be happy that you've made these changes and now you're getting the sound you want. That's today's flute tip.